Dropbox C2, or DBC2 as I call it, is a modular post-exploitation tool composed of an agent running on the victim's machine, a controller running on any machine, and optional modules. The agent is written in C#, hence targeting Windows-only machine, and the controller is written in Python. What makes this tool special is that the agent and the controller communicates only through Dropbox servers by the use of the Dropbox API. So the Dropbox server kind of acts as a C2 collecting commands and results from these commands. The whole communication is end-to-end encrypted, meaning data is not only encrypted during the transport, which uses HTTPS, but also at rest on the Dropbox servers. The main benefits of this tool are: 1. You don't need to own a domain name or even a public server to establish a communication channel with your agents. 2. There's very small chances that Dropbox.com servers will ever end in a list of suspicious sites blocked by proxies, IDSs, or antiviruses. On the other hand, the main drawbacks of this tool are: first, communication is all based on a polling mechanism, so it can be quite slow compared to a truly interactive shell. And second, well, since it's not interactive, you'll have to think about it when launching commands or modules, as we'll see later. Another thing to understand is that to get a so-called agent running on the victim's machine, you first need a tiny piece of software called the stager to be somehow executed on the victim's machine. Then, this stager's sole purpose is to download and decrypt on the fly the rest of the code called the stage. All this runs in memory and never touches the disk, until you need persistency, of course. Let's demo how it works. Step 1. Create a Dropbox account. Step 2. Enable an application on your Dropbox account. Select an app folder only application. Step 3. Get the access token for this application. This token is used to authenticate all Dropbox API calls. Now we're ready to crack on. It all starts with the controller. Before launching it the first time, you'll have to edit the config file and set your Dropbox API access token. If you don't want to put it in the config file, no worries, you'll be prompted for it at the start of the controller. Now you can start the controller. The first thing it does is asking you for a master password from which a cryptographic key is derived. The key is used to encrypt all data between the agent and the controller. So beware, if you change this password, you won't be able to communicate with previously deployed agents that have a different key. If you don't want to be prompted again for the password at startup, you can save the key in the config file. At any point in the controller console, you can use the tab key for auto-completion of commands and their parameters. You can enter the command name without parameters to get some help on the command format. If you prepare a command with a question mark or with the help keyword, it will show you some help for that command. Because communication is done through Dropbox servers, before being able to use a stage or a module, you first have to publish it on the Dropbox server. At this point, you've got no published stage. Check this using the list published stage command. It shows an empty list. First thing to do, publish a stage. Type publish stage, hit tab to see the available stage releases. There's only 2 provided by default, but you may want to compile your own stage. You can then give an optional name to this stage, and if you don't, its name will simply default to default. Let's check on the Dropbox server. We can see a file called default.aa. It is obfuscated with a simple XOR encryption performed with the SHA-256 hash of the master key. Now that at least one stage is published, you don't have to publish it again next time you start the controller. Only now that a stage is published, you can generate a stager for this published stage. Type gen stager, then hit tab to get the list of available stagers. Let's generate the most simple stager, a PowerShell one-liner. The next mandatory parameter is the name of the stage this stager will load. Again, you can hit Tab to get auto-completion for the available published stages. For the purpose of the demo, I'll generate all possible stagers and show you how they look like. The stager now has to be delivered to your victim by whatever means. For the purpose of this demo, I won't use the stager, but straight the stage executable in a demo version with hard-coded key and access token, as well as some debug information displayed, just so you get a better understanding of how it works under the hood. When the agent starts, it first creates two specific files on the Dropbox server, indicating that it's alive and ready to receive commands. Each agent has a unique ID, based on an MD5 hash of the machine CPU ID and the first sneak MAC address. Then it starts the polling cycle. At the start of each period time, the agent touches a status file, indicating it's still alive, and it checks for the command file. If there's no command to execute, it goes to sleep for a random amount of time, calculated from an average polling period and a percentage of deviation. We can see at the controller side that a new agent has become alive. Type the list command to check it. Now let's task this agent with some commands. First, select the agent you want to work with by typing the command use, then hit Tab to autocomplete with the available live agents. Let's task the agent with a simple CLI command. Type cmd, then hit enter. Next, enter any non-interactive command line, for instance ipconfig. The controller creates a new task for this agent and updates the command file on the Dropbox server. Type task list to see which task the agent is currently tasked with. At next polling, the agent will execute this command and return whatever the output is, be it an error or a success. Beware that when using the cmd command, the agent waits for the CLI command to return before resuming to its polling cycle, so you don't want to launch a command that lasts forever or requires user interaction. It is also possible to start any process in the background using the launch process command, specifying an executable and some optional parameters. Let's task the agent with starting the calculator. The launch process command doesn't wait for the process to return, as it is started in the background, nor is it able to capture its output. You can transfer files from the controller to the agent and the other way around. To send a file from the controller to the agent, use the send file command, then specify a local file name. You can use the tab key to autocomplete with files in the local folder. As an optional parameter, you can specify the agent target folder in which the file will be saved, but if you don't, the file will simply be saved in the user temporary folder. To retrieve a file from the agent, use the command getFile, then specify a valid path and name for the file on the agent side you want to retrieve. By default, it will be saved in the incoming folder, but you can change this by modifying the config file. You may want to change the polling period and deviation, either to make the agent more reactive, or to the contrary, to make it more stealthy. Use the polling command and specify an amount of time in seconds and deviation in percentage. The agent then adapts its polling period accordingly. You can also task an agent with sleeping for a given period. Use the sleep command and use the specific format to set the number of days, hours and minutes you want it to sleep. Let's task it to sleep for 1 minute. Type the list command to confirm that the agent is going to sleep and also to see its wake-up time. Now let's talk about modules. At the time I'm doing this video, the agent only supports modules written in PowerShell, which already gives us quite a lot of impressive features. Before being able to run a module, you first have to publish it on the Dropbox server. Use the publish module command, then hit tab to get the list of available modules. Let's select the PowerDump module. The controller XOR obfuscates it and then uploads it to the Dropbox server. Check the list of published modules using the list published modules. You can now type the run module command, hit tab to get auto-completion for the available published module. Depending on how the module is written, you may have to provide an additional command line to actually instantiate the module by specifying the entry point function. Eventually, you will want to stop the agent. Simply use the stop command. Next time you start the controller with the same Dropbox API access token, you'll find again your list of published stages and modules, so you don't have to publish them again, unless you've changed the master password. You can use the delete publish module and delete publish stage commands to remove them.